Hello everybody and welcome to the first World AI Battle. This AI battle features all 15 to 16 civilizations that won previous AI battles. Of course there are duplicates. So before we begin, it is turn 1 and I'm going to show you guys which civilizations are currently in this game, and this will be part 1 of more than likely a multi-part series. So let's begin. Starting off, we've got Mozinkani in the northwest of North America, United States over here with Washington, and 3960 BC with Washington. It's a bit weird, as with Texas as well. Austin over here in the southern part of North America. We've got a few different city-states here, and we have Venezuela, who was the winner of the South American AI Civ battle. And we have Buenos Aires as a city-state. So that completes America. There are 4 civs on America in total, 3 in North America, 1 in South America. So let's go on to Europe. And I want to apologize in advance. I did choose this map mode because it came standard with Civilization. This is the Earth map mode, and it looks a bit wonky. I mean, if you guys look at Spain, it looks really ridiculous. I mean, this is not what Spain looks like in real life. As with England over here, it doesn't look anything like this, and Copenhagen doesn't even have its own island, so I put it over there with Sweden and Norway. So anyways, let's go ahead and continue. For the 5th Civ, we have England, who, as you guys recall, with the Britannia AI Civ battle, there was no clear winner between London and the Isle of Man, so I decided to include them in this game anyways, because why not? And then we've got Copenhagen, who won the Scandinavian AI battle. Of course, Paris, which is the World War II Paris. And then we also have Germany and Carthage. And we have the Soviet Union over here as well, which won the World War II AI battle along with France. So let's go ahead and continue. We have in Africa only one civilization, Kilwa, who looks like has already found an ancient ruin to increase their population. So Africa is basically completely empty besides Carthage and Kilwa. Going east, we've got Persia, who has won the most recent AI battle, the Sandstorm battle. And let's continue to go east. Central Asia is completely barren and ready for colonization, which is great. So now we've got Vietnam, who won the Pacific battle. Of course, Hong Kong is a city-state. Korea, who won 2 different battles, so they're like the contender, I guess, for champion over here. And we also have Japan as well, and this is a very funky-looking Japan. Obviously, this is not what Japan looks like. So I believe that's all the civilizations. In total, I believe it's about 15 to 16, and of course we have Australia over here with Sydney. So, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? I don't know who you guys want to win, but my money is on Texas. It is where I'm from, so I certainly hope to see them at least survive a little while. So the first few turns, I don't think anything special is going to happen. We're just going to kind of watch and see what's going on over here in Europe. Of course, in Europe, we have 5 civilizations very, very close to each other. Not a lot of room for expansion, but a lot of room for war and conquest. And I want to also apologize in advance. I don't believe all of these civilizations are placed in the correct order. This map, of course, is not very accurate. And I'm not a, geography expert. So I think Europe largely is okay. Of course, Carthage is in its good spot. Paris, I couldn't decide because if I made Paris where it's actually supposed to be, it would interfere with the colonization of London and Berlin. So, well, mainly just London anyways. It'd be like around here in the Ile-de-France. But I think it's largely okay. I just wish we had more North African / Central Asian / South African civs. Sorry, South American civs to kind of balance out what will inevitably happen. And I want to also preface this by saying that there's only domination as the victory condition, so this series might last a long time, considering it takes place across the entire world. Here we see Venezuela kind of exploring all of South America, getting some ruins. Going up to North America, it seems that the United States has met their western native neighbor, hopefully for the Shoshone history doesn't take place like it did so cruelly in real life. And, of course, Austin is not exactly in the right place, but I couldn't really place it in the correct spot because Texas looks basically like if a 2-year-old were to paint a map of North America. So, let's go east. Looks like Paris is expanding along with Germany. Of course, no civs have actually set up a second settler yet. So, we will continue. Persepolis in a very, very good spot. They are situated next to an abundance of luxury resources. And the first pantheon goes to Texas, who have chosen a rather defensive pantheon. I also believe that Vietnam is in a very good spot here, along with Korea. Of course, Japan starts with Mount Fuji, which is pretty good benefit for them. However, they seem to lack most types of luxury resources. So, we'll once again see how that plays out. I'm kind of just going to fly around here until something interesting happens. But this is to be expected. I mean, we're only in 3000 BC. Nothing too exciting is going on just yet. Of course, there are some city-states, and the city-state placement was also chosen by me. Again, some of them might not be in the right spot. Of course, La Venta was a pre-Columbian antiquity site located in the Yucatan Peninsula. Didn't really know where to put that, so I put it there. Panama City, I think that's pretty fairly self-explanatory. Of course, Quebec and Vancouver. And I hope Washington's in the right spot. It's kind of sad that I'm actually, you know, from the United States, and I'm not exactly sure where Washington should be placed. I think maybe a tile to the southwest would have been more appropriate, but it's fine. But I mean, look at Florida. Florida looks pathetic. I feel bad for the people who live in Florida and they have to see this. This is a cruel, cruel, and unkind parody of what Florida looks like. Of course, if it was more realistic, you would see retirement homes and old people with a spattering of tourists and Cubans. So it looks like Mosenkhani has set out their first settler. Sorry, the Shoshone. We'll see where they put it. And let's go over back to Europe and see what's developing over here in the old world. Looks like England has a settler, and as does Denmark. It's my guess that either Germany or France will be wiped out relatively soon, probably by 500 AD, as they are in the crossroads of 4 to 5 different powers. Of course, the Soviet Union also has a settler coming from the east. And if you guys are wondering why I chose the World War II civs of France and the Soviet Union, it is because they were the first civs to win their respective games. So, I know that Russia won one of the AI battles, but that was after the Soviet Union won previous battles. So that's why I chose them. Also, the Soviet Union looks great. It's red. I mean, that's pretty cool. Hopefully it lasts on to the industrial era, the modern era. And maybe it'll collapse, maybe it won't, we'll see. So, I think Denmark's a bit confused on where it wants to place its second settler. They're kind of doing the tour de Scandinavia here. Trying to find out where they want to place their settler. And it looks like France wants to set their second settler over in Iberia. That'll be an interesting development to see. So, York has been set up. Marseille, of course, is not exactly where Marseille would normally be. Very interesting position. So let's go back to America and see what's going on over here. An absolute mess of border gore here. As you guys can see, Timoke is in the Midwest of America, kind of west of Detroit. New York is in Detroit. Very interesting. And Texas looks like it wants to colonize California. A very nice development. Let's go south back to Venezuela, who has decided to colonize inner Amazon rainforest type of area. I will apologize. I know almost next to nothing about the Amazon rainforest, or really about the, you know, cultures that live there. So, what I say, you know, may or may not be true. I do know it's the Amazon, though. So let's go back to North America. Houston has been placed on a very strange area of, I want to say that's California? New Mexico, Arizona, something like that. I never remember them having a coastline there, so like I said, this map is a bit wonky. Right, so North America, everybody has 2 cities. Washington is absolutely huge. Look at this, 5 population compared to every other civ in this hemisphere. Of course, Venezuela also has quite the population, unsurprisingly. Let's go back to Africa, where we haven't seen really much of anything. We have a second city of Zanzibar, located far away from historical Zanzibar, and we've also got a third Swahili settler going presumably to the southwest. Let's go north. Oh, would you look at that? We actually have a third city that I forgot to mention, located in kind of like the Levant / Egypt region. Carthage, very bizarrely, has no settler whatsoever. And Moscow looks like it's just pooping out settlers. Of course, Persia has got a second city as well. And let's go further east to Asia, where Vietnam has 2 cities, Korea has 2 cities, and Japan is trying to figure out how the hell to get off of this island so they could settle their next city. But what they'll probably do is sit it on the ass edge of Japan and settle that region there. We're just going to kind of chill here for a little while and see what's going on in Asia. Of course, it would appear that the Persians have already discovered Korea. Very, very interesting. And Korea has got a third settler on the move. So let's go back over to the west, where Kilwa has decided to make the Great Library. And I will apologize, it seems that Carthage has set up a second city quite far away from historical Carthage. In fact, they crossed the Saharan desert to get there, somewhat ahistorically, or perhaps even impossible. And it seems that London has a third settler. I don't really know where they're going to put it, considering they might not even have optics at this moment. Where are the German cities? It looks like there's a German settler trying to colonize Eastern Europe. It'll be interesting to see where they even go at this point. And it looks like France is going to continue blobbing. Of course, Lyon is not exactly located in a historical position. Carthage has a third settler up. Very, very nice. And Germany is still confused, as they are heading towards Siberia at this point in time. Also, I want to ask my viewers if you guys know where the hell that Danish settler went. They kind of went around Scandinavia and did nothing. We'll see if they place any cities. Of course, Germany has a third settler up, probably headed to Siberia as well. Straight to the Gulag with you. And we also have another Carthaginian settler heading south across Africa. Right? Very historical here. So let's go back up north. France has a settler and they're confused on where to put it. Denmark has placed their second city of Aarhus. And Germany has placed Hamburg in historical Prussia region. Of course, Poland doesn't exist, so there's more room for living space. I do not speak German, but I think it's Lebensraum. Lebensraum. Yeah, that was a pretty pathetic attempt at speaking a foreign language. Apologies to my German viewers, or Austrian viewers, or really German-speaking viewers, I guess. It's not just those 2 countries. You could be from Switzerland, or Luxembourg, or wherever. So, going back to North America, we have more border gore, as Boston is definitely not located in Boston. New York is definitely not located where New York is, and the Shoshone have decided to go balls deep in colonizing vast swaths of North America. Of course, Texas is looking on confused. They're stuck with the desert, it would seem. And let's go south to South America. It would appear that Venezuela is content with their position of being absolutely by themselves. It's pretty nice. It seems like they're going pretty tall at this point. So let's go back to Asia, where Vietnam has set up the third city of Haiphong. Like I said, I can't pronounce these names. And Japan has 2 settlers that they can't use. Very interesting. Hopefully by the time they unlock, or rather research optics, they won't be completely in a bad position of colonizing mainland Asia. Perhaps they'll go for Siberia, I really don't know. So Korea, once again, is in a very strong position, as is Vietnam. Australia is looking empty, as always. Of course, there's Sydney there. Let's continue going east, back to North America. France may or may not be the first person in the classical era. Of course, Texas has developed Stonehenge. Very historical. I remember that in the Texas history books we read in school. So let's go east, once again, to Europe. And see what the hell is going on over here. It would appear that that German settler that was going east has decided to make Munich in central Siberia. Very, very historical, once again. And Leningrad, of course, is nowhere near located where St. Petersburg should be. Kiev should be a little bit more to the west, but that's fine. Not a lot of room to settle. Of course, we've got a Danish warrior, a Viking, kind of in the French lands. And it would seem like France is going to settle yet another city. France will be the civ to look out for in Western Europe, it would appear. I would say probably tied with England, as they'll be able to defend the English Channel with lots and lots of ships, quite historically. Whoever takes Iceland, of course, gets access to uranium. We all know that Iceland has massive reserves of nuclear warheads in real life, so that's totally appropriate. And Algiers, which is nowhere, I mean, it's kind of close to Algeria, but it's on the wrong side of the Mediterranean Sea. Carthage, once again, is aggressively colonizing West Africa. They will definitely come into conflict with the Swahili, who have decided to themselves make a rather disjointed and far-flung empire. We've got Carthage developing their own pantheon, and Persia over here aggressively sending out settlers. We'll see where they send them. But so far, Persia looks pretty historical. I mean, they're within the Persian region of Baluchistan, and I guess Persepolis itself is pretty close to Tehran or Isfahan. Elizabeth, of course, just completed the Temple of Artemis. Very, very interesting. And Germany looks pretty lost. I mean, I'll be honest with the German Civ. There's not a lot of warriors. Basically, no type of development going on there. I suppose that's somewhat accurate, considering at least the Romans consider them barbarians. But the Romans are not in this particular timeline. Let's go east. The Germans, of course, have Munich in a very weird spot with lots and lots of wine. I don't really know how this is possible. Once again, I did not design this map. I have no idea if Siberia has vast quantities of wine. I will be inclined to say that it's more likely vodka. So this is a bit ridiculous. Let's go east over to Asia, where it looks like Vietnam is gearing up for some sort of military activity. They've got lots and lots of composite bowmen. And once again, Persia is deciding to colonize modern-day northwestern India, kind of going into the area of Punjab, modern-day Pakistan. Very interesting development. Nobody's taken the Spice Islands yet, which freakishly do not have any spices whatsoever. They have wine as well and bison. I want to say that these luxury resources are randomly placed, because there's no way that this is anywhere near historical. And look at this, Tokyo. We all know that Tokyo is on a little island close to Siberia, of course, near Vladivostok. Right, that makes a lot of sense. So Japan is starting to go towards modern-day Eastern Asia. Perhaps they'll colonize Mongolia, given some time. Let's go east once again to North America and see what's going on over here. It would appear like nothing really has changed except for the colonization of Goshute in northern modern-day Canada. I wanted to say none of it, but that's more like over here. Anyways, interesting development. Alaska has nobody, as is Siberia. Nothing going on over here. We all know that Texan warriors were in Alaska in 1000 BC. That's totally accurate. And just peace going on over here in North America. A lot of peace. I wish Texas would build more of a military. They're much like Germany. and they don't really have much to defend themselves with at the moment. So let's go south. Venezuela has settled yet another city, the city of Maracay. Hopefully I pronounced that right, or Maracaibo. So they're going to the southeast. They have an entire continent to themselves, basically. So we'll see how that goes. Kilwa, going over east to the African continent, has settled yet another city, this time closer to their capital. And Washington has declared war on Quebec. We'll go over there and check out to see what's going on. The first religion belongs to Japan, who has designed Shinto. Very, very cool. And we have a Danish city on the Black Sea. And the Black Sea is basically a lake in this particular series, as the Bosphorus is closed off by forest. That makes a lot of sense, of course. We all remember that that's how it is here in real life. Going over to the Soviet Union, nothing too special to note, just 3 cities. Munich, of course, still in Siberia, and Persia, of course, still heading ever eastward. Let's go focus now on the battle between French Canadians and English-speaking Americans. And I guess American is a bit of a unfair term, considering everybody on this continent is an American. So let's go with, I don't know, America. Okay, interesting. France and Germany are at war. That's quite a bit more interesting than a city-state being declared on by Washington. Let's go check out the first Western European War, which may or may not go very well for the Germans, who are being surrounded by the French, and a somewhat reversal of historical fortunes. Perhaps one day the Americans will have to land on the beaches of northern Germany and free Germany. Of course, Denmark has declared war upon France, and England has declared war on Denmark. So we've got a clusterfuck of conflicts going on here in Western Europe. So we're just going to kind of zoom in on the action, kind of stay in this particular region, at least until some developments occur. Of course, Berlin, capital of the Germans, is being taken down a notch, but Paris itself is under siege, I guess, by a Viking worker and warrior who will soon be wiped away. Or maybe not, considering the AI is a bit erratic on the best of days and completely neurotic on the worst of days. So let's go ahead and see how America's doing with Quebec. They're getting their asses kicked. The French Canadians want to be free, unsurprisingly. So let's go back to let's go back to Western Europe. Whenever it says, or whenever it's between turns, sometimes the camera goes panning like crazy. Vietnam has developed the Terracotta Army, and Sejong has designed the pyramids. Very interesting. Looks like the Soviet Union is gearing up for war. They have quite the military, unlike their German counterparts. And this war is relatively uneventful, as the French have retreated from Berlin and decided to defend themselves against a presumed Danish menace, while simultaneously sending French warriors at a city undefended. Interesting. So let's, I was thinking about staying in Europe, but this, whoa, there goes the camera again. We have an English settler over here, probably trying to colonize Eastern Europe. Very interesting development. And along the DMZ here, not a whole lot is happening. Of course, it seems like England is trying to colonize modern-day Finland. They want access to all those strategic saunas and lakes, which are somehow appallingly absent from the Finland on this map, because we all know that Finland is just a land of lakes. And look at this, the Soviet Union wants to get in on this action. They have yet to declare war, but they're sending a very militant division over to the west, presumably towards Denmark, maybe towards Germany. We don't really know at this point. Oh, it looks like it's going towards Scandinavia. And England is just chock full of units. Of course, France and Germany are now at peace. However, Denmark and England are at war, and Denmark and France are at war. We'll see how this goes. England is going over to the Kola Peninsula. I have no idea why. Or rather, they just passed the Kola Peninsula. So enough with this conflict. Let's continue. And I just want to check the time real quick to make sure that we're doing well. We are. I will have to end this particular version. Not version. I don't want to say version. Episode. There's the word I was looking for. I want to end this particular episode in about 5 minutes. It was a good first episode. Kind of like the development stage of the World AI series. Of course, Persia over here is expanding relatively quickly into the Indian subcontinent, and we have very interesting developments over here with Korea. Oh no, that's not Korea. Kathmandu is still independent. They share a very similar color to Korea. Threw me off a little bit. Nobody in the Spice Islands, nobody in Australia quite yet. Japan is very confusing. And Korea has a very intricate road system. Very cool, very cool. Of course, Asia is peaceful. Let's go back to South America, where Venezuela is still basically slowly colonizing all of the continent. San Antonio is the newest city of Texas, which is located in like Silicon Valley or whatever. I'm not from California, couldn't tell you where that is, but it's in California, so that makes a lot of sense. And of course, Quebec kicked the Americans' ass, and we have an American settler over here in the north of modern-day Canada. We'll see where the hell they go. Very interesting for them to be up there. Heading towards Alaska, I think, which the Russians have yet to touch. It is, of course, only 600 BC. So let's go east again, into the European theater, where there is war. The Germans, of course, are rebuilding. And the English still have a settler heading east into Siberia. Really nonsensical, but it is what it is. Let's see where they go. Right, so stalemate, practically. Of course, the Soviet Union has quite a bit of units up there to the northwest. Let's go south into Africa, where Kilwa is trying to kill the Bonzo Congo. We'll see if they're successful. Probably not. The AI is incredibly silly. So nothing to report there. Let's go back north to Europe once again. Kilwa has completed the Great Lighthouse. Whether or not they become a naval power in the late game is to be seen. Vietnam is going pure military spec here. They had the Terracotta Army, now they're going for the Statue of Zeus. Korea, be careful. Persia, be careful. The Vietnamese are coming. Let's go back to Texas, who, oh, yep, has been declared upon by the Shoshone. Hopefully the Texans get their production into gear and start producing military units, because the Shoshone have quite the numerical superiority here, and they'll have no problem stomping the Texans out of southern North America. We'll see if the Americans come to the Texans' aid by declaring war upon the Shoshone. My guess is probably not. Of course, Texas is the holy city for Catholicism. I guess that may or may not make sense, depending on where you are in Texas. La Venta has declared war on Sam Houston. I didn't realize that city-states could declare war on civs, but it is what it is. Of course, if a city-state declares war upon another city-state or another civ and takes their city, no city raising is active currently, so that means that you'll have a city-state that has more than one city. I've seen it happen before. It's quite interesting. And let's see if these Native Americans are going to kick the Texans' ass. Darius has declared war on Kathmandu. Let's go back east now to the European theater, where nothing special is happening, unfortunately. Carthage has yet to colonize northern Africa. Very strange. And perhaps, yes, of course, the city of Nottingham in northern Siberia, where there are no luxury resources, and snow and tundra. Right, of course, the AI makes the best decisions. I think we can all agree. That was quite possibly the stupidest move I've ever seen the AI make, ever. You know, it's only like, 15 million kilometers away from London. So, of course, that's a very nice place. Soviet Union still has yet to really expand. Denmark is relatively confused here, as they are engaging in a Cold War of sorts with the Soviet Union. And France is still blobbing like crazy in Western Europe. This is the Big Blue Blob, with Europa Universalis terminology here. And let's go ahead and take another turn, and this will mark the end of part 1. Of course, peace has just been made in Western Europe. Fantastic. Let's go back to North America, where Philadelphia has been made in the middle of nowhere, Alaska. Alright, makes a lot of sense. And let's go a little bit south, where the Texans are trying to declare their independence, or rather, trying to fight for their independence from the Native Americans from the north, the Shoshone. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed part 1. Part 2 will be out very, very soon. I'm very interested to see what's going on, or what's going to happen in the future, as it's quite uncertain. Like and subscribe if you guys would like to, and put in the comments who you guys want to win. We'll go ahead and see what the most popular choice is, and hopefully whoever you want to win will win. It's, like I said, it's uncertain. So thanks, guys. See you soon.